All right. Welcome to Bond STX. This is week 7, February 14th to February 18th. This is Lance, the bargain stock bounty hunter, joined today by my special guest, Daz. He's going to comment on some stock valuations and prices with me today. Start off with a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, nor am I advising anyone to spend their money. This is only for educational purposes and only my opinion. Any money spent is at the individual's own discretion and not due to any information from me. So like I've been doing here over the last few weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and get started talking about the market because the market's still in a kind of a shaky position. So I'm gonna start off with the Nasdaq and kind of look at what I'm seeing there. So a couple weeks back, kind of projected the market to be in this kind of zone here. It's kind of came into that zone, came out, kind of fell back into it. So going forward, looking at how the market's trending, this is the true value last week. The true value has fallen coming into this week. You can also see the EMAs, the projected EMAs, the blue, the red, and the green, kind of falling into a downtrend. One of the other things I want to point out here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me zoom in a little bit more. The EMA, which is the teal line here, is actually touching the green. So with a lot of the talks of, I believe, war and then the stuff going on in Canada with the truckers' protests, looks like the market fell a lot Friday, pulling this green teal really close to crossing this green EMA, projected EMA. So that's a danger zone. If that cross does continue to fall and happen, which would be tomorrow, you would see definitely a descend into the market. And so again, you see a rejection of the blue EMA, a pull down, rejection there, and then a strong pull down here. So looks like it covered the manipulation back from January 31st. So like it's covered there, which is a good sign. So it could, based on that coverage, it could turn back around. But if it does cross, come down, expect it to come down a little further down in here. So I would say by Friday, I would expect the market, with all the news and things going on in the world, project the market to be somewhere around this range Friday at worst case. Best case, I would project it to be somewhere around in here. So tough to call. The market's kind of in a weird spot from looking at the NASDAQ. But you do see the MACD chart showing some momentum pulling up. So again, a lot of different ways it could go. I would say Monday or Tuesday will be a great sign to tell what kind of trend it's going to be in. Moving on to the New York Stock Exchange. It's kind of in a better place overall compared to the NASDAQ. And I did kind of mark out a trend on the MACD, and it seems to be kind of going into that trend. I do see a strong pullback coming into the New York Stock Exchange from last week. The EMAs, the green, the red, and the blue seem to be going flat here. And so, but you do see the true values over the past few weeks and coming into this week actually moving up. Looks like they're moving up about, it's off the screen here. Looks like the EMA, I'm sorry, their true values are moving up 0.79% there. You got a 0.8% there. So pretty consistent climb into the New York Stock Exchange. Got some projections here that looks like it's going to continue moving up. So again, I do see 2 pull downs from Thursday and Friday. It could continue that going into tomorrow, but I would expect to see a slight decline into the New York Stock Exchange as well coming into this week. So wouldn't say the market's looking very, very strong this week, but again, it could see a little bit of a pullback Monday and Tuesday, and then a strong pull forward at the end of the week. So something to be looking out for. So moving forward with the plays of the week, I'm gonna start off with Halozyme. Not sure exactly how you pronounce it. Been tracking this company for a couple years. Bought into it a few times, made some nice money in the past. But coming into the week, it's on sale by about 6 cents. True value of $34.26. Moving at a slight upward trend of a 2, which is not bad. So let's look at the charts and see what Halozyme is actually showing us. And so looking at 1 year, 1 day, as I normally do, kind of see a lot of consistency early on from last year. You see slowly a downtrend in the SMA. And so you can see how it's attempted to cross SMA, attempted to cross SMA and could not. Looking in, it does have an earnings report coming up on the 22nd. So that's next, the following week. But looking in at Halozyme and looking at the projection of its current historical climb after it's been under the SMA, looking at the cross that it's made back here on on February 1st. Got real close to crossing back down, but it did not. But what I see Friday, a huge pull back down. So something to be aware of. And so with Halozyme, I would say it could fall back down. I think a good value or good price to buy into Halozyme is about $33.58. I believe if it shows support there, I feel like it can come back up. And at the best case, I would say by Friday, looking at $34.92. Worst case, I would say you could get in here. You could get back a true value of $34.30. So again, a nice manipulation back here. Looks like it's going to probably want to cover that manipulation at some point, possibly. I think getting in at $33.55 is a good price point. I'm projecting the price crossing the SMA in the March 14th to March 31st timeframe. So from the middle to the end of March, I project the price will get up in this range. So some easy money to make. So I'm gonna go in at $33.55 for Halozyme this week. Daz, what's your call out for Halozyme this week?
Actually, mine's pretty close to yours. I was gonna go with $33.96 this week.
$33.96. Okay. All right. See, clear this one out. Got that one locked in. Moving on to the next one. Going down the list. Another one looks like a long-term play, Docusign. So Docusign's on sale, just 4 cents. True value comes in this week at $122.52. Very similarly as Halozyme is moving at a slight trend up of a 2, which is pretty good. And so let's look at what the chart is showing for Docusign. So looking at 1 year, 1 day, Docusign called out a trend back in the early part of the year that it was projected to be on, actually fell below that trend. So it looks like it's making that same projected trend up. So it looks like a little bit delay from what we saw early in the year projection, like it's starting to make that similar trend now. And so what happened earlier in the year as it was going to cross the green EMA, the teal and the green actually got rejected, fell down. So actually has officially crossed the green and teal. Those two have actually crossed. Looks like they crossed on the 2nd of February. It looks like it's crossed again the 8th of February. So looks like it's really going back and forth here. The investors are starting to come back in. You can see the momentum starting to pull back up. So it's really flat, looks like to me, although my chart, my spreadsheet shows a 2, which is a slight increase. It looks like it's all coming together, and potentially Halozyme, I'm sorry, not Halozyme, but Docusign could explode this week if it can cross into the blue and the red. So potential cross here on the red. If it can cross into the blue, looking like a great opportunity. I do see a trend in the MACD coming up. So I would say a good potential price to get in. I do think it does need to cover this price range here. And so I'm looking at Docusign this week at $116.89 as a good price to get in. I wouldn't expect it to stay there long. So I would expect it to kind of do something like this and then come up. So I would say 116.89 for me with Docusign this week. What's your price point for Docusign this week?
I like it at 117.66.
116.89. Not too far off. 116, we say 66.
117.
117. 66.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we are a bit far off on that one then. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's lock that one in. And moving on to the next one for the week. So AST SpaceMobile came in on the scan as $5. I'm sorry, 5 cents on sale. And so $5.78 is the true value, slight trend of a 2. So we're going to look at AST SpaceMobile for the week. Chart is starting to spin. All right. So looking at 1 year, 1 day, kind of see the SMA is actually been pretty flat over the last year. So which is interesting. You don't see a lot of stocks with a flat SMA like you see here. But then you see a slight downtrend starting in November. Kind of been beat up a little bit since then. One of the things I did see is a recent low. And so looking at a historical trend of this stock, it wants to start to pull up once it reaches a low. And so one of the things I did pull out is a projection of that could come out, and I guess in the next few months, looking at April timeframe, looks like a slow trend up. So the best case in this week, looking at AST SpaceMobile, thinking it's going to fall a little bit more. Looks like it could by Friday get into the range of the $6 range. And so a little bit below true value. You do see, if I zoom in a little bit, you do see the teal above the green, but you see a rejection on the red. So I would expect it to fall a little bit more. Again, a lot of this depends on the market. This one trades on the Nasdaq, as you see here. So I would expect, depending on how the market moves next week, coming into the week, I would expect to get in, potentially could get in, it may not fall quite this far, but I would be more comfortable buying it at $5.22 if it comes down to that price range. And so that's where I'm going with AST SpaceMobile. So Daz, what's your call out for AST SpaceMobile?
Yeah, I think this one right here a little tricky. If it holds at 560, that's what I'll watch it. To get in, I guess I'll be a little bit more aggressive. So you said 520. I'm okay with 546. Yeah, I'm okay with 546 getting in.
546. Okay.
But this is a tricky one, I think, though, personally.
It is. It is. I will say that for sure. Again, I don't know a lot about this company. It did pull up on the scan, for the spreadsheet, but just something that looks like a good potential, I would say. Definitely something, again, you want to watch for, scan for, as you mentioned, or put an alert before you just jump in. Next one I pulled out was Plug. This is more of a short-term day trade opportunity. It's a penny on sale, so 21.30 true value. Again, a relatively decent movement. A lot of these are very, very much closer to true value this week. So looking at Plug Power, and so 1 year, 1 day out. This cake range is not going to be not going to hold very long because its high is going to fall out next week. So its high is going to be down here, which is going to bring the cake range down as well. So I wouldn't pay a lot of attention to the cake range because the high is going to be definitely different. Probably won't settle down until get into next couple of weeks. So I would say, looking at this one, see a lot of a big spike up here. It's a little bit overpriced for the value of Plug Power back in November, December. It's been on a pretty strong downtrend all year so far. Do see some opportunity. Again, a lot of stuff in the markets, been falling because the market's been falling. See a lot of volume coming in end of January. So you're looking at 40 million shares here, 35 million shares here. So starting to pull the price back up. So you see on the 31st, it went from about a low of 1892 to a high of 2192. So that's a pretty good increase in 1 day. So you're looking at about 13% in 1 day. So it's a big manipulation point to be aware of coming into this week. So at some point, it's going to have to cover that. It may not stay there long. It may be a quick pull down and pull back. I'll expect to see that, something similar to this. So looking at the opportunity for this week, I do see a pullback Friday. Looks like it'll be showing a fractal up here, but I would expect to see a fractal down if it does go down Monday. But I think there's a good opportunity to get in to Plug Power. Looking at the opportunity it has, I do not like this green and the red getting ready to cross. It is a little bit of a bad sign. But again, it depends on how the market moves this week. I do think, again, the market's probably going to pull down Monday, Tuesday, possibly, and maybe Wednesday, and then a Thursday, Friday pull up. So I think the best case, if you can get in at Plug Power, what I'm planning on getting in, it would be $20.64. At best case, you could probably get out around the $23, $22 range. Worst case, it could come back. You could get still get out about the 21.96 range, or get out at true value of 21.35. But I do think an opportunity to make anywhere between 3 to 6%. If you can get in at 20.64, I think that opportunity is gonna present itself looking at the movement here. So I would say 20.64 is a good value price for me to get in on Plug Power. So Daz, what's your thoughts on Plug Power this week?
For this week, like you said, it just depends how the market is going to be. But I'm okay with $20.90.
20.90?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, depending on how the market is. But I could, overall, though, it's bearish.
Yeah,
I think to be bullish, it'll have to break I'll comfortably say $23.11 for it to be bullish. Again,
2011.
$23.11 for it to be bullish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm seeing potential Friday. You know, again, if the market, this MACD, the strength can start, continue to climb with it. It might be there Friday, potentially. But yeah, see how everything's coming closer and closer together, which is a good sign. And it looks like there's some buildup. So just looking back, it's been on a strong pull down. So you see the volume starting to build up from here to here, which could mean there's a lot of opportunities for it to want to push back up. So I would say just to build up in volume, the MACD starting to pull up gives me a little indication that it could make that turn bullish, if not this week, potentially next week. It does have a earnings report coming out on the 24th, so I would definitely be hesitant to pull this one out of next week's plays, just knowing that. So moving on to the next one, Cloudflare. So this is the first time I scanned this company. It's a cloud-based company. And so one of the things I saw pulled up on the stock twits was Cloudflare. So 95 cents on sale, coming in at a true value of 105.87. Slight trend up at a 2. So let's go and see what Cloudflare is showing us on the charts. So the stock ticker is NET. So looking at the stock price, you see the SMA's got the stock price coming up pretty good, but you can see, let me scan back out real quick. So stock price is coming up, and then it's finally crossed the SMA again, which is a bad sign. Did just have earnings report and a pull down, and I'll show that here in a minute. So you see on previous earnings reports, pull down on price. So something to be aware of. So it could be just a manipulation of the price with the pull down. Again, actually it's the day after the earnings call. So yeah, they had an evening's earnings call. So yeah, the next day pulled down. So looking at the previous days before the earnings call, it was on a nice little trend up. So I would say, I don't know if the earnings call is just a kind of blip on the radar, but I would say that it is wanting to cross this SMA again here in the near future. So I would say, based on what I'm looking at, has a nice, decent continuation in this direction. And so I would say, depending on how the investors react to this pullback tomorrow or Tuesday, I think there's an opportunity to get in at 102.69, and then with an opportunity to get out at 111. So you're looking at a roughly an 8% opportunity that's this week at the best case. So that's what I'm going with on Cloudflare. And so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 102.69. Feel pretty confident buying it there. What's your call out on this one, Daz?
I'm way off. Yeah, I'm looking at I'm looking at like 96.24. I'm thinking it's gonna fall a lot more personally.
Okay. So it's probably gonna be looking at covering that last manipulation back in looks like early end of January. 96, you said 24.
96.24, yeah.
Okay. Look at that real quick. It's 96.24, so that's gonna pull, let's see, it's 86 there. Yeah, so it's about covering this range here. Okay.
Yeah.
Next on the list, got Wayfair. So just had Cloudflare, now we got Wayfair. So Wayfair came up as a $2.45 on sale, true value of $148.17. Does come into the week flat. And so one of the things I want to pull out of Wayfair that I want to show that I'm looking at. So Wayfair is it's been trying to push through the SMA for a while. I'm actually going back to August. Tried to push through, could not. Try to tap there, could not. Tap here, could not. And so it's been pretty much on a strong downtrend, I would say, since August. Hit a new low for the year back in, what day is that? On the 24th of January. But since then, it's been on a nice little uptrend. Again, it pulls in flat this week, but going back to January shows a nice little uptrend. I am seeing the blue, the red, and the green come together, and I'm seeing a almost potential cross. It actually crossed here, got close, and almost crossed here. So it's fighting against the red EMA. So one of the things, again, as they get closer and closer, at some point, inevitably, they'll eventually cross. And so look and see if that cross is going to happen this week. See the EMA, the MACD actually starting to pull up again. And they do have an earnings call out in the 24th, so something to be aware of. And so very tight trading here. You don't see a lot of manipulation at all right in through here. You see a little bit of manipulation back here on the 2nd of February. So I would say that one's got to be covered on the upside. And so potentially, I think, might be able to get in this week at a low of 140.55. I do think there's some opportunity for the price to get to 161, but at the worst case, you're looking at 153, 152 time price range. So I would say looking at around 7% potential this week if you can get in at 140.93. So I'm going with 140.93 with Wayfair this week. That's what's your call out for Wayfair.
I'm liking it at 142.37.
142.37. All right. $42.37. All right. Let's lock that one in. And then last but not least, NIO. So NIO is an electric car company from China. I've never invested in NIO. I've been watching it for a long, long time. It seemed like a good opportunity could present itself. If not this week, I would say next couple of weeks, but I'm gonna show you what I see on the charts. But it's 23 cents on sale coming into this week at value of 24.33. Did a lot of analysis on NIO, a little bit more than I typically do. I'll show you some things that I'm seeing. And so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom into what I'm seeing today, and I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. So one of the things I'm seeing, so it crosses here on the EMA. I like to look at the teal and green cross, of course, but I see a rejection to the red. So typically what you want to see is a teal cross the green, teal cross the red, and fully cross the blue for it to get full bullish. So one of the things I pointed out, I look back in some of the history of the stock and see a lot of repeated patterns of this kind of fake out. It's like a fake cross. So it wants to turn bullish, or it pretends to turn bullish and actually doesn't. So I see that happen. It happened on the 8th. Did the same thing here back in end of the year, beginning of the year. So it crossed green and pulled back on the red. So it crossed green, pulled back on the red. So I went back a little bit further, saw the same sneaking pattern all the way back. September, August of last year. Same thing, crossed on the green, pulled back, never turned bullish. So it's like a fake pullback, a fake pull up. Same thing did on back in July, same thing. So there's a lot of weird things going on with this stock in terms of how the investors are trading on it. And so again, another pull up on the green and an immediate pullback. And so it never turned bullish on the days you would think, or during the weeks you would think it would turn bullish. And so going back again a little further, same trend. Back in March of last year as well, another instance where it goes teal green, rejection on the red. Teal green, rejection on the red. It did it again in April. So 6 instances in a year, within a year, is pretty strange to me. So one of the things I did want to pull out, again, I really analyzed this one quite a bit, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with why it keeps wanting to get rejected on the red EMA. So I do see a potential based on, what I just mentioned, the historical trends. I do feel like this one is, it's a great opportunity to get into the kind of the A, B, C, D type, where you buy in a little bit here, potentially buy in a little bit more, get your average about right in here, and get out and sell at the potential opportunities in the near future. So looking at what I see long-term with NIO, looking around this April 19th to April 12th timeframe of potential sale opportunities. If you can get in this week, potentially get in. They do have an earnings call, which is, I did want to mention, March 1st. So kind of questionable earnings call, meaning that date could shift, a few days back, a few days forward. So another thing I want to mention on the earnings calls, they all seem to dump on earnings call days. So earnings call day here, see a dump in the price. Previous earnings call here, see a dump in the price. Previous earnings call here, see a dump in the price. So one of the things I would be aware of, if you're going to invest in this one this week, that don't be surprised that the price dumps here. And so it looks like a potential another buy area end of March, middle and end of March. But I would expect to see a pullback, a pull up into the stock again, kind of early part of April. So I would say just for this week, zooming in, after all that being said, this week I do feel like a good buy point for NIO would be 23.24. Just looking at how it is above the green. And I do feel like it is going to get a rejection on the red, as you see Friday. You could get in here, potential pullback up by Friday. Best case, you're looking at 25.04. Potential get out at true value of 24.04 if you want to get out this week. But I do think long term, this one could be a good opportunity. If you could really get in, get your average around 22.73. You could definitely get out 23.61, 27.25. Best case, 34.64. So I would say coming in this week, I would feel comfortable buying NIO at 23.24. That's what your call out for NIO. With all that being said, I know I said a lot there.
Oh no, you're fine. I didn't even say this. So NIO is one of those stocks I kind of dislike, like Nicola.
This is a China company too, right?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of NIO, but if I had to get in this week for a trade, I potentially can see. I think 22.84 is actually not a bad buying point.
22.84. Okay.
You're not a big fan of NIO.
Yeah, I know you're not a big fan of China companies, period.
Yeah, that sounds terrible, but yeah.
But hey, you can make money any way possible if you can find an opportunity somewhere. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how this one how it moves over the next few weeks. I'm real concerned about the patterns I'm seeing, but I do think there's some opportunity to get out at least in April. Again, make some good money there. So, all right. So, I believe that was the last call out. I was going to call out Facebook again, but I held off on it. Couldn't resist. I had enough call outs for this week. So, but Facebook is still an opportunity. I would expect to see some metaverse commercials during the Super Bowl today. Imagine there probably be some spikes in Facebook on the upside this week because of that. So anyway, keep a lookout for Facebook. Again, I had that one as a long-term play last week. So if you've invested in Facebook, be aware that you might be able to get out this week. Dad, anything else you'd like to say before we get off?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. Enjoyed it. Thank you for having me again.
All right, no problem. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining us again this week. Hope you have a good week trading, and talk to you soon.